Hey guys, Jorel from Hyper Coliseum here, coming hot off the regional, the last online regional, which was Top Cuts November regional. I said regional like 4 times, but I wanted to do the long-awaited Jesmon deck profile because I wanted to wait and see how I did in the regional. Ended up at 57th place, so top 64. I'm very happy with that. My last best placement was 76th with Kimeramon in last year's Gen Con regional. So overall, I'm just happy with where we got. And yeah, so I'm just gonna jump straight into it. I'll go over the full deck first, and then we'll go through all the matchups I had in the regional. And yeah, let's just get to it. So starting off with the eggs for Kimeramon, this is basically the bread and butter of most Jesmon decks. Allows you to draw when you have 6k DP or more on swing. Just gives you that consistency boost. Yeah, just drawing every time on swing. You're mainly swinging when you're in your level 6 Jesmons or your GX. So just having the extra draw is nice. So first up for rookies, we have 4 BT6 Huckmon, probably the greatest searcher in the game. Allows you to search top 5 and grab any 2 Sistermon, Jesmon, or Huckmon in name. So this grabs your Just X, your Just GX, any Sistermons, or even any of your line if you're still missing pieces. Again, just probably the best searcher in the game right now. Next up is 4 BT13 Huck. Honestly, the new BT13 line has been amazing for the deck. It's given it so much more speed, given it so much more memory control. You're able to keep turn before when you couldn't. I didn't really find myself using the your turn effect that much, but I mean there was like a couple times where I wish I kind of had dropped this instead of a sister just to get the free Digivolve, or the other time I used it, I Digivolved into the Bahawk for free and then managed to get into a Savior and just have an extra body that way. Next up is 2 of the security promo Huckmons. These guys, honestly, I'm still back and forth on. The security effect maybe came up twice, but I wasn't able to pop anything. You do get the extra draw, which is nice. I misplayed one game and I thought you had to pop something to get that extra draw, but if no Digimon was deleted, you get the extra draw. But the reason I'm back and forth on this is because, like I said, the security effect doesn't do much most of the time, but I mean, it's still nice to see insecurity when it is insecurity. But honestly, this is one of my flex spots because I was thinking of going with the starter deck Huckmon, the one that inheritable gives you plus 1k as a Royal Knight or Huck, and then whenever you play a sister, gain 1 memory. The other tech choice that I would have done, and I honestly kind of found myself wanting a little bit because I played Blue Flare twice in the regional, is Sistermon. Granted, it's not a target for any of your searching, but having that 3-drop just prevent play cost reduction is very nice against Blue Flare and Cross. Blue Flare mainly because they tend to not have an answer to it to bounce it. Like, yes, they can stun it, but Blue Flare most of the time will never be able to bounce it, and they'll have to just play around having that Sistermon on board, preventing them from doing Digi-Cross. Moving into the level 4s, we've got 4 BT6 Huck. This guy is still very much relevant. Having the option to delete a 5k or less is very nice on attacking when you have a Sistermon on board. It doesn't have to be a Royal Knight, so if you DNA in the Chimera and you need a quick pop, he's very, very good for that still. The other level 4 I run is the BT13 Bahawk. Again, very good card. BT13 line is just amazing. These 2 together just give you 2 memory when you play a sister, combined with something like the BT6 CL give you 3 memory on play when you Digivolve, or when you get to the point where you Digivolve into a 6, or using the Just GX effect to tuck another Royal Knight underneath and proc their when Digivolving effect to play on our sister. Just very nice. Same thing with the Savior, just allowing you to play a sister from hand or trash, and then gaining the memory off these two is just super nice. Again, same thing, I didn't really find myself using the your turn effect much, but it's still nice to have just in case. Moving on into the 5s, we've got 4 BT13 Savior Hook. Again, your turn effect, it's a nice bonus. It's definitely a good replacement for the starter deck Savior Hook, just because you still have the same inheritable as that Savior Hook, where it's, if this Digimon is a Royal Knight, you may play 1 Sistermon from hand or trash without paying memory cost. So having the same inheritables as the starter deck Savior Hook is very nice. Just allows you to put more sisters on board. Next level 5 is the 1 of BT6 Savior Hook, soon to be unrestricted because this Friday the new restriction list will hit and he will become unrestricted. Very good in clutch scenarios, if you're tucking him under a Chimera, or if you're just playing him outright. Let's say you have the 2 BT13 line and you Digivolve into a sister, you play 1 from hand, you gain the memory, you keep turn. Still a very good card, even at 1. I'm happy it's coming back to 4. I'll be honest, I don't think I'm gonna run 4 unless someone cooks up a very like hyper aggro OTK list with like Blitz Jess. So we'll see where it goes. I'll probably honestly run it at 2 if the list stays mostly the same, because I will replace this Savior Hook with it. Again, starter deck Savior Hook. I don't really find myself using the 1 Digivolving effect as much anymore, but like everything else, it's a nice bonus to have. Has the same inheritable to let you play sister for free, so still good there. Moving on into the 6s. First off, we have BT13 Jess. In my opinion, this is the second flex spot in the deck. One of the machine players that I normally go against in my locals recommended to tech in a starter deck Genku, the one that lets you play a Sistermon from trash and then a Digivolve something when you play by effect. Honestly, I didn't really like it too much because you have to have a Sistermon in trash, and it's not like everything else where you play from hand or trash, so it's a bit awkward. This could also be replaced for a second Chimera, to allow you to DNA your sisters, or DNA your Baohawk and a sister, or any of your level 4s. So having the extra flex spot is nice for that, having the second Chimera, I mean. But honestly, he came up with a decent amount. I was able to clear a couple boards. Sometimes I was able to just Digivolve into this guy and then Digivolve into Jesx and then GX and then swing for 4 checks. So having just a normal Jesmon is still huge. You could replace him with Blitz Jess. I did find times where I was lacking the Blitz, and it would have been nice if I had it. But I don't know. I mean, with the way I play the deck, I don't think it's really necessary, but it definitely, like I said, this is a flex spot for sure, along with the 2 rookie hooks, or security hooks. Next level 6 is Jesx. Very good. Built-in Judgment of the Blade effect when Digivolving. Has Piercing. When Digivolving, you play Sister from hand or trash, and then if you have either Jess or a Sistermon on board, your entire board gets plus 2k and can attack on suspended Digimon for the turn. Again, Inherent Judgment of the Blade effect is very nice. Allows you to swing through big bodies. I find myself using it a lot against like Shine Gray or War Gray, where they have like their big level 6 stack, and I'll just swing right into it. Either as this guy if I'm big enough, or as a GX, because they keep the effect for the turn. So it's very good. Digivolves for 3, which is nice. The next level 6 is Genkumon X Anybody. Huge for the deck. Allows you to counter Shine Greymon because of the prevention from DP reduction. Has blocker when Digivolving. It Digivolves for 4, but when Digivolving, same thing as the Jess. If you have Genku or X Anybody in sources, or you have a Sistermon on board, you gain plus 2k prevention from DP reduction and bounce to hand or deck. On top of the plus 2k to board, the same thing that the Just X gives. So when you go into GX, you have both of these. You have plus 4k to board, can attack on suspended Digimon, and then you can also you also prevent DP reduction and bounce to hand or deck. Again, very crucial for Shine. But the boost off these two allows your Sistermons to live for a little bit longer, especially like if you're running into situations where you need more blockers and you have Blocker Blanc on board. That allows her to stay at 7k, can't really be killed by DP stuff, low DP stuff like Crimson Flare or Crimson Blaze. And then the prevention of bounced hander deck is very nice against blue decks. Yeah, Genku is solid. Moving on into the last bit of our top end, we have Jesmon GX. Oh man. There's a lot to say about this card. Huge. Basically, this is your threat for lethal if he sticks around long enough. Reboots. So when digivolving, you can place a Royal Knight that's play cost 13 or less, and that's a Royal Knight that's play cost 13 or less from hand or trash underneath this Digimon as its bottom card, and then you activate one of its when digivolving effects, and then Blitz. All turns, when a card with Royal Knight in its trait, or when a card with Royal Knight is in its traits is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, gains Piercing, Blocker, and Sec +1 for each Royal Knight underneath. Most of the time, your GX will be swinging for 3 checks. Like I said, sometimes with the Jesmon, if you're lucky enough, you go Jess X, GX, slide in either of these two, and then you're swinging for 4 checks. Yep, like I said, very good threat for lethal. Gets massive off the boosts from these two, and then like with the other sisters, you'll get Reboot, so he gets Blocker. You'll get +2k, so he's huge. The highest I've hit is like 23k with him. 21 to 23k, because +4 off this, and then like I'll usually have like 1 or 2 sisters on board that'll push him up to like to that 19 to 20k threshold. I mean, there's not really much else. That he's just your boss monster, and that's about it. Going into the Sistermon lineup, I'm gonna move the eggs here. 2 Blanc, your standard blocker. It gives all your sisters blocker, draw 1 on play. Not much else to say. She does die a lot because she's only 3k, but just giving all of your sisters blocker gives your board, gives you that defense that you need to stay alive. Moving on to starter deck Blanc. This one is you honestly just trash a sister in hand, or just trash a piece you don't need, draw 2, gives you that consistency. And gives you decoy for things like for just any deletion effects, really. Allows you to save your big stack, your GX, your Jessex, Genku from dying. Yeah, I mean, not much else to say there. Going into the sales, we have 2 of BT6. Very simple, +2k to all your Hux or Royal Knights, and gain 1 memory on play. So like I said, combined with these two, you're gaining 3 memory when you play. And sometimes your stuff like if you get de-digivolve, your Bahuk or your Hux, or your Hux or your Royal Knights are just huge. So like there was one game against Cross where my Bahuk was still 13k because he had the boost from these two, and I had 2 of these on board. So moving into the next one is the starter deck CL Reboot. On play, search top 3, adds a card with Hawkmon or Royal Knight in traits to your hand, trash the rest. So definitely sets up your trash. You generally tend to not want to grab your sisters off any of the searches, especially if they're going to trash, because you just have ways to play them back. So that's just massive. It's like I said, sets up your trash. Unfortunately, it does not let you grab. Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of the other one. Unfortunately, it does not let you grab any. Well, actually, it doesn't let you grab sisters at all. Slight mishap there. Doesn't let you grab sisters, so they just go straight to trash. And yeah, what I'm thinking of is Hawkmon does not grab Genku, which is kind of unfortunate because it doesn't grab Royal Knight. It grabs a Just specifically in name. But I mean, it's a little bit less consistency. The deck is still very good at what it does. And then gives all of your Hawk and Royal Knights Reboot, so you can sometimes swing safely, that you'll know that you'll unsuspend next turn and not be able to get swung on, or like In the case of GX, if they have raid, they have to raid into the GX, which is usually massive when you bring him out. So, I mean, just reboot is very nice overall. Makes your blockers live for Ganku and just X or GX. Moving on to the final sister, Sistermon CL. This one is huge. I imagine this will see, you'll probably see the ratio switch around a bit for this CL when this Huck gets unrestricted, because on play, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a Royal Knight by paying its cost, and then when you Digivolve into a Royal Knight, you gain a memory. So I can definitely see this being a huge combo, the Savior Huck that lets you play the sister from hand, because you go into Huck, play this, Digivolve into one of your level 6s, probably the Blitz Just, if I had to guess. Like I said, for that hyper OTK strategy. And then the final card, at least for Digimon, is Chimera. Like I said, 1-2 Chimera is probably the best. This just opens up avenues of play. Let's say you're one swing short, you DNA any of your level 4s into Chimera, you get that minus 2k to the board usually. You tuck in a level 5, whether it be this savior, usually it's any of your saviors, that way when you Digivolve into your level 6, you have that, you still have that play a sister from hand or trash effect, or even the unsuspend off Savior Huck. You don't need to go into a 6 when you Digivolve over this, or when you tuck this Savior Huck, just because you just need a Sistermon on board to unsuspend. So that's it for the Digimon. 5 cards left in deck. For options, we have Master the Disciple. I'll clean up the sisters here so we get a little bit more room. Alright, so for Master the Disciple, honestly, probably one of the best options for Jess. Real top 3, add a Huckmon, Sistermon, or Royal Knight card in its traits so they can grab each other, which I have done a lot. To hand, and then trash the rest, and then place this card in your battle area. Security effect does the same exact thing. You place it, your security effect, you reveal top 3, and then this gets placed in your battle area. So just being able to activate its own effect is huge. And then the delay is the next time one of your Digimon would Digivolve this turn, reduce the cost by 1. So most of the time I find myself having like 2 or 3 of these on board, because they'll sometimes grab each other, or I'll just play to like memory choke, or just, you know, set up my plays for future turns. I find myself Digivolving into Saviors for free a lot, or I'll find myself Digivolving into like my Just X's for like 1 or 2. And that's huge, because as I mentioned, it allows you to keep turn a lot, and just be able to just get more sisters out on board, which is more or less the deck wants to do, so it functions. The last card I decided to run is Judgment of the Blade. This one honestly has seen a lot less play ever since the starter deck came out, because you have the Savior Hawk and the Just X with the inherent effect of Judgment. One of your Digimon with Huckmon or Royal Knight in its traits can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon for the turn. I decided to bring it back just because sometimes the security effect is huge, because it allows you may play one Sistermon in its name from hand or trash without paying memory cost, and then add it to hand. So sometimes if they're, say, at 0 memory and they check this card, you'll play out the BT6 CL and gain the memory and pass the turn, which can be huge game changers at times. Other times I find myself, like, let's say I have GX on board and the effect, the when Digivolving effect from Just X has already worn off and I can't attack their Digimon. Having the option to do this is nice, because it allows you to clear their big bodies, or like potential stacks that they could be trying to Digivolve, like say low level 4s or like level 5s even. So I like this just because it gives you the option to help clear board a little more. Alright, so this is the deck, and then let's talk about matchups. I'm gonna try not to take too long on this, just to try to keep this around 10 minutes. So my matchups, first game was against Birds, Red Vaccine. I won 2-0. I really don't want to say self-explanatory, but it really is. Like, this is a high tier 2 deck in my opinion, and going against birds, which is more of a rogue deck than anything. So that, yeah, like I said, that's kind of self-explanatory. So 2-0 win there. Round 2, I lost 2-0 against Blue Flare. He had all the answers to my board. He had Sorai, he had the Metal Grace to stun my sisters, and it's kind of hard because you need the sisters to operate to activate all of your effects. But at the same time, if you don't have sisters on board to try to prevent having more than one Digimon out, you're basically just dead in the water. You're not doing anything. You just have a big body, and that's about it. So stuff like the Metal Gray that stuns, unsuspends, jamming, Sorai that prevents all of your sisters from attacking because usually they won't have sources. You'll just play them out. Blue Flare's a hard matchup for sure. But there are definitely there are times when you can try to sneak out the win. Next round is Shine Gray. I won this 2-1. Genku X is the hard counter to the deck, as I mentioned earlier. Preventing the DP reduction from all of the shine effects helps you a ton, because it allows your sisters to stay alive. It allows your Just GX to live, or your level 6 stack in general. Just huge. If you don't see this against a Shine player, you're probably dead, I'll be honest. So that's that. Great Toolbox, round 4, I lost this one 0-2. Reason being, game 1, he saw his line so much faster than me. And he had the perfect line, so basically it was Security Gray, and then he went all the way up into Raid War Gray, raided over one body I had on board, unsuspended, swung through my other suspended body, and those were 2 checks apiece. I had 4 security left because he chipped with an Agumon earlier, and then he blitz on me for game. So if he didn't kill me that turn, I would have had GX, I would have had an answer, I would have swung through his body, and then it would have been harder for him to recover. But unfortunately, he just had the lineup. Game 2 was a little bit closer. Both of us were looking for our level 5 pieces. Unfortunately, he just aggroed a little too early with the Metal Gray, and I made a misplay that I Digivolve. I had both Just X and Genku in hand, and I Digivolved into Just X just to get the reboot on board, but didn't have any blockers. I had 2 security left, and he had a Metal Gray X that had 2 checks. So it was the matter of giving him 1 or 2 memory, because if I Digivolved in the Genku, I would have given him 2. If I Digivolved in the Just X, I would have given him 1. So it's kind of hard to tell off that. If I had Digivolved in the Genku, I probably would have had the blocker, but then it matters if he has the level 6 or not to try to get through my guys. Next round 5 was against Hunters. That was a tie. Basically what happened there is game 1 took forever. Game 1 took 23 minutes out of the 50 that were allotted for main game, and then the 5 minutes of overtime, or 3 turns. What had happened there was, I honestly think I could have won that. I had this Savior on board, and I didn't remember his effect to Digivolve for 2 less into a Jesmon. I definitely had this Jesmon in hand. So I think if I had done that and manipulated my memory a little better, I probably could have won that. But then that changes the rest of the tournament, so it is what it is. I'll accept the tie there. Round 6, against Blue Flare again. This one was a little more scary, or this one was about as scary as the first, but I managed to just see my pieces faster than he did. And I was just able to eke out a win. Kimeramon was huge because I had DNA play. I was able to DNA tuck the Savior, swing once, and then swing again for game. So round 7 was against Black War Gray. That one, I honestly got lucky. I had the whole level 6 and 7 lineup, so I had Just into Just X into GX to tuck a Genku, swing through his Black War stack, which he only had the 1 on board with nothing in raising, swing through his Black War stack, check 4 times, move on to game 2, again, just saw his pieces better, was able to swing through his stack because of the Just X, and it was just game from there. final round, round 8, was against Cross. This one Cross scares me because they can aggro so much faster than you can. And most of the time they'll have ways around your blanks or your blockers. Because they'll have like the cross pieces, and they'll just go like cross 3, cross 5, cross 4. So that one's kind of a little bit tougher. If I had so my line of thought is it's kind of tough because basically when I go against Cross, I want cross 3 and cross 5 to, well, I want cross 5 to not die because it prevents them from getting those sources back. And then cross 3 and cross 4 you want to die because then they lose the start of turn memory on cross 3, and they lose the end of attack on cross 4. So trying to have blockers or just pray you have answers to security is kind of tough for that matchup, especially if their stuff lives through checks. Like if cross 3, cross 4 live, that's kind of you're getting put in a rough spot because of the cross 4 end of attack or the extra memory that they gain off cross 3 if they decide to blow it up. Other times you'll just have like way too many bodies on board that they cannot aggro through all of your blockers, and sometimes you'll get wins that way. So, but yes, that's basically about it. Again, I'm very happy with where my standing was. The last format of this Jesmon being at, or this Savior Huck being at 1, so I'll probably keep an eye out for lists that play this Savior more, as he's getting unrestricted, and maybe we'll see more hyper aggro lists. But honestly, if that doesn't happen, I don't see myself changing this list too much. Probably just 2 of the BT6 Savior, and that's about it. So yeah, thanks for everyone who is watching on the stream supporting me. Thank you for everyone who's watching this video right now. Love Just to death. Jesmon is just a fun deck to play. Once you get all the muscle memory down on all the effects, it's a lot to take in at first, but once you get used to it, it's just a fun deck to play through because you're spitting out so many bodies. You've got a giant dude that they usually can't answer, so it's just fun. So with that, I will see you guys around. Thanks for watching.